States. Today is December 15th, 2017. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Last time was during Winter Storm Benji, but now I'm back. I'm recording this late night, 11:15 o'clock, and it's standard time, by the way, Eastern Standard Time, by the way. But without further ado, let's look at the United States map overall. What's happening? What's happening in terms of winter weather currently, and as you could see that this isn't loading up, but you could at least get the idea that there's a whole lot of snow showers in the northern portion of the United States. And if we zoom in over here, I'm hoping that loads okay. So we have this Clipper system that's now moving away from the northeast coast, and we have the snow that's still like basically centering right around the Nantucket area, right around the extreme south eastern portions of Massachusetts. But other than that, the northeast, most of it is alright. We do have a couple of scattered snow showers um, more towards Pennsylvania and upstate New York due to a Clipper system that's more towards the west of it. We have like a stationary front that's centered right over basically Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. We have like a stationary front centered over it, but it should weaken that over basically the next day or so as it loses that instability, and it doesn't have as much winds as a result of losing its instability, because those winds are what pushes that water or makes the water from the lakes evaporate, and could strengthen some of these clippers as it goes over the lakes. But in this case, it should weaken as a ridge of high pressure starts moving more and more south and basically just dominates the Great Lakes region. So we won't see much lake effect snow as a result of that. And then as we move more towards the west, we have a regular northwestern system that usually brings snow showers in the higher elevations. That should also weaken as a high pressure from the south dominates as well, and it just doesn't have enough contact with water to keep it alive. And as we can see off the GFS is as of right now, and then if we move just a little bit forward, you could see that that Clipper system or stationary front that's dropping by from Alberta, Canada, it will start to weaken as it goes more and more south, because you see those isobars very close to each other that early on Saturday. As we move forward, those isobars become more spread apart, which usually represents less wind instability, and as a result of that, we see a weakening storm. And we also see that in the northwest as it loses contact with the water, and the higher elevations usually like kill these kinds of storms when they get like in especially the higher elevations of the northwest. So um and as we look at the winter outlook, the surface analysis, you can see stationary front dropping by, and that's as of right now. So let's look at the future of the winter storm season. And over the past couple of days, I think a lot of people have been noticing that we've been seeing a pattern where we see an Arctic high pressure that's centered right over Canada, and then we see a drop in the jet stream that's bringing a lot of clippers in the northeast, which is why we're seeing like a lot of snow and a lot of very cold air in the northeast as of recently. We're like, I think right now in my area it's below 20. It's really cold, and I live in northern New Jersey, so we're definitely seeing those temperatures get really cold as a result of this pattern has been happening for basically probably the past 2 weeks. But I can assure you that that pattern is going to change as we approach Christmas time, but it might not be for the good. Depending if you like the snow or not, we could see a potential change in the pattern, which could bring a potential snowstorm or possibly a big event in the United States, not just for Northeast, but for Southeast, Midwest as well, and possibly even the West Coast of the United States. So as we move forward, we see that that pattern is already like in effect. We see that that drop in the jet stream is very well defined by the GFS model. But as we move forward, we see that this high pressure starts to really dominate the southeast coast of the United States. And as a result of that, it brings basically a subtropical jet from the south up towards the north, warming up those temperatures in the south and basically evening out the jet stream, because before we had a big dip and then now we're seeing the jet stream kind of straighten out as this subtropical trough like moves more north. And it's not until later during the 21st, 22nd, 23rd we really start to see that pattern change, and then it's now starting to update. And you can see that we have this huge drop in the jet stream. We have huge instability right around the Texas, Arkansas, and Oklahoma area, where we have extremely warm air in the south and then extremely cold air just centered just to the northwest of that. And as a result of that, we see quite a big mid-latitude cyclone in the Great Lakes region. We see a lot of snow in that area, and due to that instability, the storm continues to grow. We see like southern Texas start to see some rain and even some mix in those areas. And this could be an ice event for the southeast if this event and this scenario comes true. We do see that this low pressure system, due to the instability, will start to grow. We could see ice in the middle of the Texas area, but keep in mind this is still far away to watch, and it could easily change in the future. And we have to see whether this storm really like comes for tuition, because forecast models really do change over over a couple of days, really, because they change drastically. And it's due to like history and stuff that really slows down like progress of, it's all based on history, basically, the forecast models and what that history tells, and and based on what happened in history, they basically predict the weather off of what happened during this case scenario. And obviously we have limited people, at least have meteorologists, have limited budgets, limited weather records to keep those histories. So as time moves on, those forecast models should get more reliable. But as of right now, there's still a big question with this, if this is really going to happen, because the European model, another very reliable model, is taking a less exaggerated storm for most of the United States. And I think one of the main reasons why is that most of the cold air is just centered more towards the north. It doesn't really over exaggerate the dip in the jet stream towards the western portion of the United States. It mostly stays up north, which limits that cold air to go over that very warm Gulf water that creates instability, and that could really strengthen those storms in the future. So that is something to watch around the Christmas time. But if we look at the weather right now, it looks fine. With this snow, with this like stationary front, I expect at worst 3 inches from this. But if you're in the lake effect zone, like I would say just south of Buffalo, around the Watertown area, then I think you guys could see maybe 5 to 8 inches from this lake effect snow. But it should end tomorrow. It shouldn't be a huge lake effect event, I don't think, because it's obviously going to lose its winds and instability to really evaporate that water from the warm Great Lakes, which are warmer than average this year. And that's basically it for this weather video. How long have I been going? I don't even know how long I've been going. Let me check. 9 minutes. So I guess that wraps up this video. I thank you guys all for watching. I plan to do more videos like this. If you enjoy it, make sure to like. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. And I hope you guys like have a blessed and great day. So have a good night.